Hello friends, and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be checking out a very early alpha version of an upcoming procedurally generated twin-stick hack-and-slash dungeon crawler called The Spooky Cave. Now, it is very early on, and I'm going to say that for a variety of reasons, but one of them is that there is no sound just yet. But in the upside of things, this game is actually quite a bit of fun already, even in this very early state, which is why I wanted to show it off to you. This is probably just going to be one that we're going to want to follow and keep an eye on for future reference. So how does this play, you're wondering? Well, you can probably get a good idea just from looking at it, honestly. It's not all that complicated from a gameplay perspective, but the one big twist to it is the fact that we've got this sort of pseudo-real-time, pseudo-turn-based thing that we can do here, where essentially when we're stopped, everything around us in the world stops as well. And if you look very carefully at the very top of the screen, I'm going to move just slightly, and you'll see there's like a focal effect that happens and tends to go away once you walk or stop. So you'll see that, you know, where that TNT text is, that'll actually get blurry and then clear again. Almost a little bit of like a chromatic aberration effect going on there too. Now, why is that important? Well, when we actually have some enemies on the screen, you'll see that it'll actually allow us to stop and make motions that might actually save our lives. So we can play it as a real-time or a turn-based or a hybrid of both. Well, the option's really yours. So first things first, let's get to the controls. They're not super complicated, but I am playing this on the 360 controller. You can play it with mouse and keyboard as well. I find that the twin stick element sort of lends itself very well to using a controller, but that's up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and equip the first item here that we grabbed out of this, and this is a hammer. Then I'm going to use my right stick to swing this around. Essentially, wherever I swing this will actually do real-time damage to things. Oh, what is this? I got a chili ice axe, which looks freaking sweet, so I'm definitely going to equip that. Being that this is sort of a roguelike sort of, well, you know the tropes by now, I won't even get into it, but when we die, we will stay dead. All of the stuff that we've gained will be lost, with the exception of perhaps our gold, I think, and I haven't really played enough to really say 100% how it's all going to work, but we're going to figure it out as we go. So far, nothing really here has required much explanation, but I can actually harvest all of these various plants. We can either chop them down or just grab them right out of the ground, I think. Blood cap, ivory blossom, and these will go into our inventory, and we can look at that in just a second. The game actually has kind of an innovative sort of inventory system, and that it actually seems to exist in an actual physical space. So if I go to select, you'll see the bow and the variety of swords and hammers I just gotten are available here for us to equip, as well as the few little bits of herbs and such that we found. So I'll hit select again and go back to the actual game. Let's put that in our stash, and we can pay 250 gold out of our 185, so we don't actually have enough to open that for the same for both, actually. So why don't we get to some actual combat and see what this game is all about. I should warn you, of course, it's a little bit violent. If you're squeamish at all, there will be a lot of pixelated blood going everywhere, and I actually really love the attention to detail, not specifically about the blood or anything, but like when I fire a bow, and you'll see here the stop motion thing and how that works. But when I fire a bow, like, it'll actually fracture and splinter off in the wall and things. The bits of pot will kind of fly around when I smack into those. So there's like a lot of really careful attention to detail, and I can't wait to see, or hear rather, once the sound and music gets added to this. It's going to be quite a bit of fun, I have a feeling. I imagine there might also be some like dynamic lighting and such that happens. I mean, there's a little bit now, but obviously there's no difficulty seeing anything. I can also push this TNT around and shoot it with a bow if I really want to. I should probably do that just for effect to see what that looks like. How do I do this? There we go. Do one of those. And the bow, when it fires, it'll actually have the arrow freeze in midair, which is a really great effect. And see, you can see the bow, actually, the arrow will splinter off in the wall there. All right, let's put back our freaking sweet ice axe and walk back over here. It looks like a giant, creepy mushroom or something. Stares with dead eyes. Apparently that spider's after me. I'm not really sure how the health system works in this. I just seem to randomly die when I'm in combat. Most likely won't happen early on because these guys are not particularly dangerous, but I think that's one thing that definitely needs to be worked on a bit as this gets further on in development. I need a better sense of understanding of what's really dangerous to me. And being that this has such an unorthodox style of combat, you know, it's more important than ever for the player to understand what exactly their role is in combat here. Because a lot of the time I can kind of just flail around in circles, and most everything pretty much will die by the time it gets to me, especially when I have a weapon this large. Even when I had some of the smaller, you know, short swords and katanas and stuff, like, that still didn't seem to be too much of a problem. So if anything, maybe it's a bit easy, but again, balance is not super high on the list of things when you're making an alpha. You're mostly just, you know, working on adding features and keeping things, you know, at least interesting, seeing if you have a solid gameplay concept before you build upon it for later on. So we've gone down a floor. As we go, there will be different themes, of course, to things, and those are also, well, it's randomly generated which theme you run into as you move from one area to the next. I've seen, oh my god, freaking swarm of bees here. I've seen a grassy area, I've seen like a wooden floor area. They do have a bit of a distinct feel to them, and hopefully we'll see a bunch of those, and hopefully we'll get to a point where the combat gets a little bit more interesting, because right now, like I said, it's fairly standard stuff. We're just flinging around our axe, trying to, well, basically just walk. If I really wanted to, I'm sure I could speed run through all of this stuff. I don't think much would really have a chance. As long as I keep my distance, and we'll chop up the slimes and suck all the gold out of them, and, well, we'll be good to go. Let's see what's over here on the right. A couple of chests. Yeah, we've got plenty. Let's open that. So we got a variety of swords, a buster sword, a short sword, an iron spear, and a potion. I will, of course, take all of these, because what's the harm? I have more than enough space. Oh, we've got some armor. Let's put on a leather armor, because I didn't have that prior. And a lovely touch is the fact that our armor actually shows up on our character. I wasn't necessarily expecting that, but it looks good. And we've also got another one of these here. What is this? Short sword, long sword. Oh, they were just stacked together. It looked like there was more going on there than there was. All right, put those all in the stash. And let's go down to the next one. Imagine if it was actually a mustache. Wouldn't that be interesting? You store stuff in your mustache. Sure, there's a game out there for that. New type of chest I don't think I've seen over here. Another long sword. Use one of 12 keys. Oh, so I guess I do actually keep those consumables. No, we're good. I think I've pretty much gotten as many swords and such. Well, actually didn't mean to do that. Let's... Wow. Alright, that is looking awfully full, isn't it? I just want to keep the one I have. You should be able to, like, star or favorite a thing, and then have, like, a couple of slots, maybe, that you could use. Yeah, let's put that in our stash. And the other thing I forgot to mention also is you do have the ability to use your shield. So basically you hold down right bumper on the controller for that, and then there's also a dash move on left bumper, which might be useful if, you know, you get too close to something and need to get away in a hurry, or if you're just kind of, you know, acting like a speedrunner and trying to zoom around the dungeon. I think I'll probably end up making use of that. You can't spam it too much, because I think you only get one every few seconds. But it is good to know that you have something like that. I'm trying to spam it right now. You'll see I have less and less every time I do it. There's a lot of stuff going on in here. My goodness. So I think as far as, like, loot goes, this game definitely needs to be balanced away from loot. Not that I mind. I mean, it's fun picking up all this stuff. But if we're going for, you know, challenging gameplay, probably one sword every floor might be overkill even. And we're getting, like, all of the swords per floor. But in, you know, the same way, it's actually giving us a good sampling of all the variety of weaponry. And I'm told that there are actually some interesting and unorthodox weapons you can find in this too, like perhaps even guns. So this could go from sort of a medieval affair into something maybe a little bit more modern all of a sudden, and I'd be curious to see how that works. I didn't even notice that slime as it walked right up to me there. Yeah, I'm just not going to bother with that flower. Let's keep going. Alright, watch out for some bats, no biggie. So when one of those slimes walks up to me, what is exactly going on there? Am I in danger, or is it just going to kind of walk into me for a moment and then die? I mean, I don't really want to just experiment and find out. I'm sure I will eventually, but for the moment, I'm in no great danger. I could really just swirl my control stick around once and everything's dead. So why let them get the upper hand? For now, I guess I'll just stay in mystery. What's going on over on the right here? I see we've got a bat. No more bat, and down we go. Alright, now we've got a stone floor. I don't know if that signals more difficult monsters or anything like that, but it looks a little bit more menacing, perhaps. Oh. I like that there's little moments where it'll, like, give you some dialogue from the enemies, too. The whole premise, by the way, in case you're wondering, and it says this right when it starts up just for a brief moment, something about, like, the rocks have collapsed, your party has died, you're the only one left. The only way through is through the spooky cave, and then it says the title of the game in, like, really silly art. Oh god, yeah, these guys could kill... Yeah, this is what's happened to me last time. I need to be more careful about that shield and using it. What's happening there? Alright, I broke the game. Looks like my character's having some issues. Can I see if I have any consumables left up here? Oh yeah, I kept all of these guys. So we've still got butter petals and whatever those are. Alchemy lab, we can combine things. I haven't actually tried that yet. Oh yeah, my character's walk cycle is screwed. Also, we should try blowing up some TNT. Let's just see what that looks like. Can I do it from this distance and not die? Yeah, looks like I can. Well, I took a bunch of damage, maybe. Some blood came out. Oh, flak punch. Oh, there's an actual gun here, isn't there? Cool. I didn't think I'd actually see one of those. Feels very strange having that without any kind of, sound effect or music going on. Let's just run through the area and just see what kind of damage we can do with a gun now. So I don't really feel too worried about anything if I can kill it from a distance. We've got a whole different game going on now. Especially because the gun is, like, super overpowered on top of it. Jeez. Yeah, this is just... I'm just going on a freaking rampage right now. This is like the Binding of Isaac with number 1 or something. Only infinite range and also more powerful as well. So, really no downside here. So we're getting kill combos. I'm killing chickens because I'm a horrible person. I didn't even know that's what was going on there. I was just kind of caught up in the moment. Let's go down again. Let's see if can we blow up this TNT from a distance. Had a little trouble with that. Oh god, what is that? Yeah, it's dead now, whatever it is. Some kind of tentacle coming out of the floor. But I had a little trouble going through that door for whatever reason. Hopefully that's not a thing. Oh, look at this spooky ghost. You gotta go. Yeah, you can shoot ghosts with guns. Turn the ghost into mulch. Wonder if there's gonna be, like, secrets and stuff to look for in the walls and... maybe more Binding of Isaac-y style stuff like that. Well, not specifically from Binding of Isaac, but it's just stuff that's reminiscent of what we remember from having played so much of it recently. And that's pretty much that floor. Hopefully we get to some difficult monsters here. Oh, wow, look at the sword on that sucker. Yeah, it didn't really stand much of a chance. What does that say? Heptagonal cleaver? Alright. Yeah, I didn't even realize that, but you can actually take the actual weapons off of them. That's a really cool looking sword. I'm, like, getting real hyped about this game all of a sudden. The addition of these very strange weapons is making this sound so much more interesting to me, too. I mean, it's fun even as it is, but perhaps was a little bit simple, but once we have this other stuff going on where you never know what you might even run into, all of a sudden it just seems so much more appealing. Alright, I should have tried to cheese them. Oh, watch out for the spear! He still got me! They're faster than me. I really need to work on this. Oh, that's too bad I lost that. That was actually so fun having that sweet gun. It's such a different whole game with a gun like that. Well, I imagine the bow and arrow could be kind of fun as well, for similar reasons. I wonder, though, why I have to aim in the opposite direction to make it fire. I guess it's like because I'm pulling back on the arrow, on the bow, rather. I don't know why bow and arrow is the thing that I seem to say backward a lot. Anyway, I mean, that's kind of a quick once-over on the Spooky Cave. Apparently, this is a game that I'm real hyped for all of a sudden. I didn't expect for this to be quite as awesome as it was. Even with no sound, this is probably one of the more interesting alphas that I've run into recently, and I've been running into a lot of really cool alphas recently, so that's a big compliment, especially since I've been playing Catacomb Kids. I mean, this is sort of like a similar concept in a way, only, top-down and not a platformer. But I'm having a lot of fun. I could imagine this would be also really great with some co-op as well, but, we'll take things one step at a time. I got pinched by that angry crab. Anyway, that's going to be it for another day, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Go check this game out yourself. There is a free download of this available, and you can go let me know what you think, of course, in the description. I'd love it if there was an option to just reverse which direction you pull back on the bow with, just because I think it would be so much more intuitive the other way, but, that's a bit of a tangent. Anyway, leave a like if you liked the video, leave a comment, and let me know what you think. Make sure you come back again tomorrow. New episodes of Indie Impressions go up every single day. Look forward to bringing you more in the future. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all tomorrow.